Allspring Global Senior Portfolio Manager, Derrick Irwin. Derrick, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Your portfolio is emerging markets overall. So how do you view the China trade talks? What has progressed so far? What hasn't progressed in relationship to what we've seen in terms of the gains in stocks? Are we spring-loaded for more? Should there be a further thawing?
Look, I think that the trade talks are going to be really important, and I'm glad we're talking about them. But I think your point with the broader Chinese rally that we've seen is really about a lot more than just the trade talks, right? So it's about AI, as you've talked about already with Tencent, with Alibaba, and China emerging as an AI force. It's about, after 4 years of very difficult anti-growth policies, a policy switch toward growth. And I think that those have legs. So I think for certain sectors of the Chinese market, they will continue to do well. And I'm very optimistic, just as you are, particularly on the tech and AI side. Now, in terms of the broader market, I think the trade will be very important. My sense is that while the news today is very positive for trade talks, I think there's a lot of positive expectations already priced in. We've had delay after delay with TikTok. We've had a pushback on a lot of deadlines. And I think the general sense among investors I talk to in China is that the direction of travel on trade talks is reasonably positive.
The direction of travel. So which side is fielding the inbound?
Yeah, no, I think in the sense that we should see an improvement in relations and trade relations between the U.S. and China, one way or another. I think that the risk of trade talks falling apart or going backwards is much less than progress on trade talks. And certainly today, despite the NVIDIA news, I would say we've certainly seen that.
Derrick, it's Karen. Thanks so much for being on. What would you say is the most likely thing to trip up the talks if that happens? Is it AI? Is it China's relationship with Russia? What do you think it is?
You know, I think the Russia issue is a big one, and bigger than we think, right? If we look at what Trump was willing to do in India on the back of Russian oil, he's made a lot of noise about Russian oil being sold into China recently. I think that can be a real risk. The big concern that we have with trade policy since April is that we've moved from trade focus to the U.S. trying to reorganize global trade systems to using tariffs and trade policy as a geopolitical tool. So I worry about that only because it is very unpredictable. We just don't have much visibility there.
Derrick, Tim, what is the one EM stock we're not talking about that you love? People know about Alibaba. What stocks, in your portfolio, highest conviction that it doesn't have to be a small cap? It could be one of these big caps that we haven't named.
Yeah, well, I'll give you two, but the easiest one for me, you've been talking about Alibaba, and I fully agree that the opportunity in Alibaba is a good one. But I think the other big elephant in China is Tencent. And I think Tencent is as well positioned or maybe better than Alibaba, particularly as AI in China develops, simply because Tencent has such a powerful ecosystem with all of their apps that can work together so well and use AI as an agent to accomplish so much, arguably with less investment in AI than maybe Alibaba has. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity that Tencent has to exploit what is incredibly powerful AI in China.
Derrick, where does Taiwan fall into all of this, if at all? Are they a chip in the negotiations in these deals, do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think that both sides would really, really like to punt that question as far down the road as they can. I think that both sides of the negotiation recognize that that's a third rail for China. And the less we can talk about it, the better for now. So I don't think as a trade bargaining chip, Taiwan will be on the agenda.